for tuning in to the Norway Adventure Stories. I'm glad you're here. What's going on, guys? How are you guys doing today? Thanks for tuning in. Norway was the second trip I've ever taken out of the country. It was an amazing trip. We wanted to go somewhere in Europe, but we weren't exactly sure where we were going to go. And we just so happened to pick the most expensive country in Europe, almost, to go to, which was kind of a mistake. We didn't really plan it out very well, at all. Basically, our plan was to travel to Norway, fly into Bergen, somehow buy bikes, and ride our bikes all the way to Trolltunga, which was, I don't know, I don't know the exact amount while I'm making this video, so I'm just gonna put the amount right here below my finger after I figure it out. But it's that many miles. It was a ridiculous idea. I can't believe that me and my friend thought that we could actually do it. Even though you could do stuff if you put your mind to it, this was a little absurd. A little bit on the absurd side. Anyway, so we got to the airport. We took a trolley back and forth to Bergen, which was an awesome city. People were kind of friendly. We initially were looking for bikes, and we finally found someone that could tell us where we could buy bicycles. So we went to this mall and searched, and we finally found bikes. And they were like, the cheapest one we can find was $500 US. And after thinking about it, we're like, we're not gonna even be able to take these bikes back unless we have them shipped back home, and that's gonna cost a lot of money. So we ended up trying to rent a car. But little did I know that you can't rent a car with cash.
Not cool. Not cool!
I did not know that because I've never rented a car in my 28 years of being alive. I did not know that you can't rent a car without a credit card. So, me and Devin ended up taking all of our money out of our accounts almost to exchange our currency to Norwegian currency. So when they needed 900 and something dollars on one card, neither me nor him had the money. At this point, we're trying to find a way that we could possibly put the money into our account, but being in a different country, this went on for 2 days. We went back and forth from the airport, and we may or may not have stayed 4 nights at the airport. It was pretty uncomfortable, and we really didn't get much sleep. Yeah, right there in that picture that I just showed you, I probably slept on that exact one. Bergen was super awesome, but we really wanted to see the wildlife. We really wanted to go on this trek, you know, this Trolltunga. We really wanted to go on this trek to Trolltunga. I took my parents' ashes with me. I had the aspiration to make a film, one of the best films that I would ever make, describing how my parents' deaths changed my life, how they made me want to live more, and you know, there's more to life than the same old routine. So our morale was down. I'm thinking in my head, you know, we're not gonna be able to even get out of this city. Eventually, a very, very good friend came through and loaned us the money. I was so worried the whole time that we wouldn't be able to get the money, and we got the money, and still I'm like, this is going so bad, we're not going to be able to get a car. And we ended up getting a car, and that's when the adventure just blew wide open. Okay, so me and Devin struggled and struggled to do this trip how we wanted to. I'm not gonna go into the details, but we're in this Volkswagen right now. We finally were able to rent a car after just this long, ridiculous struggle.
Så hun fikk ikke klart å komme seg av bussen, så bare som hun bare fikk helt panikk og bare sånn her, bare så rundt meg som et lite sånn, og hun så hun skikkelig sånn på meg sånn spesielt med øynene. Hun så som et sånn lite sånn rådyr som bare var sånn her, faen, ja faen. Så var jeg bare sånn her, stopp bussen,
Oh my god!
Oh my fucking god!
This is great, man.
We stopped at a waterfall. We got some amazing shots. There was a road closed sign, and we scoped the place out, and we somehow ended on the other side of the road closed sign, and then kind of like accidentally walked in front of the waterfall and had it all to ourselves. It was, maybe we did that, possibly. But the waterfall was definitely the biggest waterfall I've ever seen in my life. It was so beautiful. Just being in that Nordic land and getting the feeling, those vibes in the air was absolutely amazing. And I don't know why, I just have a weird thing for evergreen trees. I love them, I just love evergreen trees. And just seeing all these lush, dense forests surrounded by lush mountains, it's such an aesthetic to me. It's amazing. And you got to think to yourself, but Bryce, you stayed at the airport for 4 days? How did you bathe? We really didn't. We ended up like taking some environmental friendly soap, fill up a water bottle from a water fountain, and go into the bathroom, get my hair wet, and like wash it with the soap, and then lean my head over the toilet and take the water bottle and dump it over my head. It wasn't the most glorious, but a trip that's not in luxury taught me, it made me so much more grounded and down to earth feeling. There was a moment that we were driving around for, I would say, a good 45 minutes to an hour, just trying to find a small stream or little waterfall that we could essentially just bathe in. And we ended up finding this little tiny spot with brick coming, a waterfall coming off the side of a mountain and going through a giant drain pipe into the sea. Again, we had environment-friendly soap. Bathing below a waterfall, there's something about it. I felt so primal. Just, you know, the cold water, the temperature outside's probably 40 degrees, you know. It's cold. It's not like cold, but it's chilly. And the water was so cold, it just woke me up. And just running that cold water on my face and through my hair, and just looking up and just seeing the misty mountains and the waterfall coming down. I had a moment, and I'll never forget that moment for the rest of my life. And to me, that's what life's all about, is those small little moments that you'll just never forget. Even it could be just the smallest thing, like me running my fingers through my hair and just looking up at a waterfall and bathing in nature. But that was a time I'll never forget. And it's kind of funny to me now looking back at it, but it was an amazing memory. So finally we made it to Trolltunga after we got the car and took multiple stops. And we ended up starting a little late, I would say at noon to 1 o'clock in the afternoon, starting the hike. The hike's 14 kilometers to the main point, to the highest point, to the rock. We ended up hiking halfway, 7 kilometers, and the mist started to set in, and they had poles that would mark the path that you were supposed to take, but after so long, it turned into just paint, red paint on boulders, and it started getting so foggy and misty out, we couldn't see 15 feet in front of us, and we got lost. We turned around and we found someone, luckily, and told them that our plan was to camp, and we didn't really have that much camping gear. They left, and then we tried to continue on our journey once more, and we got lost a second time. And then I was a little concerned. And then we ran into a woman, and we asked her which way we should go. And we told her the situation and told her that we planned on camping, and she immediately thought camping and scoped us both out. Noticed that we didn't really have that much gear, looked super concerned. The most concerned look I've ever seen on a stranger. She looks at me, then she looks at Devin, then she looks at me again, and I'm like, she's like, all right, have a good day. And she walks away. So then we're like, we're gonna do this. We're gonna make it to one of the cabins and we're gonna sleep and camp for the night. You're not supposed to use the emergency cabins for that, but that was our plan. And we got lost a third time. I'm like, we could die up here. Possibly. Shh. Luckily we saw figures in the mist. It happened to be a group with a guide. They passed us like it was nothing. I told Devin, I said, hey man, we have to decide right now. Like, are we gonna turn around or are we gonna stay? It's a really good idea to just follow them back. So he's like, yeah, let's go. We ended up following them. We ended up making it back to a spot where we were familiar with. And our plan was to try to basically bushwhack it, survivor man it. And I was dead set on it, and so was Devin. We were really, we were gonna try. We had a tarp, a flashlight, and 8 cans of tuna, and Devin's vegan. So we decided eventually that if we stayed up there, we were probably gonna freeze to death. So we hiked all the way back down to the car. And that's where we met Brandon, the guy from England. He's awesome. He's a legend. Then we talked to him about Trolltunga, and he goes, oh yeah, we're gonna try the trek tomorrow at like 6:30 in the morning. And I'm like, oh, 6:30, okay, My knees are killing me. I'm not used to hiking, So we end up going back to the diner, getting some food, icing our knees, and then driving all the way back up there and sleeping in the parking lot at the base of Trolltunga. I got 2.5 hours of sleep. I woke up the next morning and I'm thinking, I'm not gonna be able to make it. Like, we're gonna have to do something else. I don't know, I'm gonna have to tell Devin, like, we can't make it. I don't know what to do. I insinuated to Devin that I wasn't gonna be able to make it, and he looked me dead in the eyes and he was like, I'm going with or without you. And some of you may be thinking that's not a good friend, but to me, he persuaded me to go. Without him, I wouldn't have. I didn't think I could do it. We hiked and hiked up this giant mountain. I was tired. I thought I was gonna die a couple times. I don't know why. Anxiety maybe, lack of sleep. The views were so stunning and I've never felt so free in my life. Free with nature. Eventually, after about 4 hours, we reached the top. We were met with a couple on the rock. The guy was proposing to his girlfriend and she said yes, and we started cheering. Right as we started cheering, a rainbow appeared. Another guy was like, do you want me to take your guys' picture? And I handed him my camera, and me and Devin ran on the rock and just started screaming and shouting, and I've never felt so accomplished in my entire life. It was one of the most amazing feelings, and I'll never forget it. And there's an image, actually, that every time I see it, I'm reminded at how anything is possible, and I never would have thought in my life that I would ever do something like hike Trolltunga, even though a lot of people have done it and they don't think it's that big of a deal. But I never saw myself leaving the country, surrounding myself with cultures that I wasn't familiar with. After I hiked Trolltunga, I knew that I could do anything. And especially when I got back, made the video about my parents, it turned out better than I could have ever hoped for. I know now that I can do anything I set my mind to. Thank you guys for listening to me blab on. There's a lot of other cool stuff that we did in Norway, but I didn't want the video to be too long. I really appreciate everyone that took the time to watch it. The next one's gonna be the Philippines Adventure Stories, and that one was one of the coolest, most heartwarming adventures I've ever had. I'm gonna talk about how I met Raymar and Joy in Bangkok. I'm gonna talk about the Philippines trip and what it taught me, and plans for the next trip. I'd also like to say a big thanks to Devin Roars for helping me film all of my videos. He's a brother. Thank you everyone for watching. If you need inspiration or anyone to talk to, you can message me anytime or comment down below. Stay safe. It's kind of a weird time right now with the quarantine and everything going on, and a lot of people, it's hard to kind of get out of that dark mindset, but it'll pass. You know, us humans have been through worse. So everyone, please have a really safe weekend and have a really good day. Thank you. Bye-bye.